Okay, let's talk about something you might not spend a lot of time thinking about, but that actually holds some uh, pretty fascinating clues about your health,
Hmm.
your nails.
That's right. Yeah, they're far from just a place for polish. Our nails can be, well, surprising indicators of what's going on inside our bodies.
Right, and they're constantly interacting with our environment in ways we don't always notice.
Exactly.
And today, we're diving deep into the material you shared with us, specifically this piece, daily habits that damage your nails and how to fix them.
Hmm.
Our mission, to kind of cut through the noise, pull out the absolute most important nuggets of insight, understand the real reasons why certain habits cause damage, and zero in on the natural, effective solutions presented.
And what's interesting is how many of these damaging habits are completely unconscious, like things we do without a second thought.
Yeah.
And the solutions, often remarkably simple, rooted in natural practices. You might be genuinely surprised by some of this stuff.
Absolutely. The material starts by shining a light on some unexpected culprits, beginning in a place we often associate with cleanliness,
Yeah.
but, well, it can secretly be a hotbed for trouble.
Ah, you're talking about the public's wet spaces, showers, locker rooms, pool decks.
Yeah.
The material makes it really clear. Walking barefoot in these areas is a significant risk.
Why exactly? Like, what makes them so dangerous for our nails?
Well, think about the environment itself. It's warm, it's constantly wet, and unfortunately, it's populated by people shedding skin cells.
Okay.
So this combination creates the perfect, nutrient-rich breeding ground for fungi and bacteria.
Wow.
And what's more, these fungal spores, they're incredibly resilient. They can survive on surfaces for months, just kind of waiting for a host.
So we're essentially just inviting trouble onto our feet
Yeah.
and the consequences. What happens then?
They can be pretty significant. An initial fungal infection, like athlete's foot or toenail fungus, that can cause nails to become thick, discolored, brittle. And as it progresses, the nail can actually lift or separate from the nail bed.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, creating spaces where bacteria can also sneak in, leading to painful secondary infections. And in severe cases, this chronic damage can be really difficult to reverse.
Okay, so knowing that these places are literal breeding grounds, what's the straightforward natural defense suggested?
It really is simple prevention, fundamentally. Always wear shower shoes or flip-flops when you're in those public wet areas. Just create that physical barrier.
Makes sense.
And afterwards, make sure you thoroughly clean and, crucially, dry your feet. Pay special attention to the spaces between your toes and around the nails.
And beyond just prevention.
Yeah, beyond prevention, the material highlights the power of natural antifungal oils, things like tea tree, oregano, and thyme. These contain potent compounds that directly attack and disrupt the cell walls of fungi.
Okay, interesting. So moving from external threats, like in our environment, to something we do directly to our nails, often with the goal of making them look, better, the material calls out the manicure trap. Seems our beauty routines can sometimes backfire, huh?
Oh, definitely. This is where chemical exposure is a major factor. Acetone nail polish removers, for instance. While they're effective, they are incredibly drying.
Right.
They strip away the natural oils that give nails their flexibility, leaving them brittle and prone to breakage.
And then the polish itself.
Yeah, and then there are the chemicals in the polish itself, what's often called the toxic trio: formaldehyde, toluene, dibutylphthalate.
Right, I've heard of those.
Yeah, these aren't just unpleasant. They can cause allergic reactions and actually damage the nail structure over time with repeated exposure.
And what about gel or acrylic nails? They seem
Yeah.
so durable, but are they safer?
Well, they come with their own set of issues. While the UV lights used for curing gels are, a point of discussion regarding skin exposure, it's often the removal process that's the biggest culprit for nail damage.
How so?
Aggressive filing or prolonged soaking in strong chemical solutions can significantly thin the natural nail plate, makes it weaker, more susceptible to breaking.
And plus, there's the cuticle care aspect. The material uses this really vivid term, cuticle carnage.
Yes, and it's such an important point. The cuticle, it serves as this vital seal protecting the nail matrix.
Which is where the nail actually grows from.
Exactly. That's the living tissue at the base of your nail where growth originates. So aggressively cutting the cuticle removes this protective barrier, essentially opening a pathway for bacteria and fungi to enter.
Oh, okay.
And potentially cause infections that disrupt healthy nail growth right at the source.
So how do we navigate this, wanting nice-looking nails without falling into these traps? What are the natural alternatives?
Well, you can opt for acetone-free or oil-based polish removers. They're much gentler on the nail's natural oils.
Okay.
Look for polishes that are explicitly labeled as free of the toxic trio and other harsh chemicals, sometimes called 5-free or 10-free.
Right.
And for cuticle care, instead of cutting, try softening them with a warm soak and then gently pushing them back. And nourishing the cuticles is key. Using natural oils like jojoba, vitamin E, or other natural cuticle oils keeps them supple and healthy, maintaining that protective barrier without risking infection.
Okay, good tips. Shifting gears now to a habit that's often unconscious and stress-related nail biting and picking. The material notes this affects a really significant portion of the population.
Yeah, it's a very common stress or nervous habit, and it creates this really damaging cycle. The repeated trauma from biting actually disrupts the normal, orderly growth of the nail cells in the matrix. This leads to weak, irregular, uneven nails, which ironically can make them even more tempting to bite or pick at.
Right, a vicious cycle.
Exactly, and you're constantly introducing bacteria from your mouth to the damaged area, which dramatically increases the risk of bacterial infections around the nail.
And the impact isn't just confined to the nails themselves, is it?
No, not at all. I mean, while you certainly see effects like painful hangnails and potentially shortened nail beds over time, the material points out broader consequences.
Like what?
Well, the transfer of bacteria can contribute to dental problems and even gastrointestinal infections, and the chronic tension on the jaw from biting. That can even lead to or worsen TMJ disorders.
Wow, that's quite a ripple effect from just one habit.
Yeah.
So how can someone break this cycle naturally? What does the material suggest?
It really involves a two-pronged approach, addressing both the physical act and the underlying trigger.
Okay.
So physically, keeping your nails meticulously short and smooth removes those little edges that are tempting to bite or pick. Physical deterrents like bitter-tasting nail treatments or even just wearing gloves can create a barrier.
And the other prong?
That's the behavioral side. Finding ways to manage stress, whether it's through exercise, mindfulness, other stress management techniques, that's crucial. And keeping your hands busy with something else, like a stress ball or a fidget toy, can also help redirect that urge.
And what about helping the nails recover from the damage already done?
Yeah, supporting nail growth with natural strengthening treatments is important here. Biotin supplements are frequently recommended in the material for helping improve nail strength and thickness, especially for people with brittle nails.
Okay.
And topical treatments containing, fortifying oils and proteins can also help condition the nail and promote healthier growth over time as the damaged part literally grows out.
Our next point touches on something we prioritize for our skin, but maybe often forget for our nails. Moisture. The material highlights this hydration crisis nails can face.
Right. Just like our skin, nails need adequate hydration to maintain their strength and flexibility. Think about it. Dehydrated nails become brittle, stiff, and much more prone to breaking or splitting.
And lots of daily habits work against this, I guess.
They really do. Frequent hand washing, especially with hot water, strips away natural oils. Using household cleaning products, even if you think you're being careful, involves exposure to drying chemicals. And even environmental factors like cold, dry weather, low humidity indoors, or constant exposure to air conditioning can pull moisture right out of your nails.
So what are the visible signs? How do you know if your nails are, well, thirsty?
Brittle, splitting, and peeling are probably the most obvious signs. You might also notice they look dull, maybe develop pronounced ridges, or show those little white spots that aren't from an injury.
Sure.
And dry, ragged cuticles and painful hangnails are also clear indicators that the whole nail unit is lacking moisture.
So the natural solution, how do we get that moisture back in and keep it there?
Natural oils are incredibly effective here. They can actually penetrate the nail plate and the surrounding skin, creating a barrier that locks moisture in.
Which oils are best?
Jojoba oil is particularly good because its structure is very similar to our skin's natural sebum. Sweet almond oil is deeply moisturizing and gives you vitamins A and E. Coconut oil is not only hydrating, but also has some nice antimicrobial benefits.
And how often should you use them?
The key is consistent application. Try to apply oils daily, especially after washing your hands and maybe right before bed. Massaging them into the nail and cuticle area also helps stimulate circulation, which is good too.
All right. Moving from external application now to internal foundations, the material emphasizes the critical nutrition connection. Our diet plays a huge role in nail health, it seems.
Oh, absolutely. You have to remember, nails are formed by living cells in the nail matrix. These cells need proper nutrition to build strong, healthy nail material.
And it takes time to show up.
Exactly. What's fascinating is that nutritional deficiencies often show up in your nails weeks or even months after they occur because that's how long it takes for the new nail to grow out.
So what are the key nutrients mentioned, the ones that are really essential for nail health?
Well, protein is fundamental because nails are primarily made of keratin, which is a protein. So insufficient protein can lead to weak, slow-growing nails. Biotin is widely recognized for its role in strengthening nails. A deficiency is a really common cause of brittleness.
I've heard of biotin for nails.
Yeah, it's very popular for that reason. Iron deficiency can manifest as weak, spoon-shaped nails and slow growth. And zinc deficiency can contribute to those white spots on the nails and also increase susceptibility to infections.
And the material also touches on this fascinating link between gut health and nail health.
Yes, that's a crucial connection that's getting more attention. Poor gut health can actually impair your body's ability to properly absorb nutrients from the food you eat.
So even if you eat well.
Right. Even if you have a healthy diet, your nails might not be getting the building blocks they need if your gut isn't absorbing them properly. Plus, gut imbalances can contribute to systemic inflammation, which can negatively impact the health and growth of nail cells in the matrix.
So how do we nourish our nails from the inside out based on this?
The advice is pretty straightforward. Focus on a diet rich in lean proteins, leafy greens, nuts, seeds, and fatty fish. These provide those essential amino acids, vitamins, and minerals.
And supplements.
Consider a biotin supplement if your nails are noticeably weak or brittle. The material suggests this can be particularly helpful. Omega-3 fatty acids, like from fish or flaxseed, can help reduce inflammation. And incorporating probiotics can support that vital gut health, improving nutrient absorption overall.
Okay, next up is the environmental assault. It sounds dramatic, but our nails are constantly facing daily wear and tear we might underestimate.
They really are. I mean, beyond the intentional styling and cleaning we talked about, we're exposed to harsh chemicals in everyday life cleaning products, even some soaps or hair products.
Right.
These chemicals are often designed to break down organic materials, and unfortunately, our nails are organic material.
And we're often guilty of using our nails as impromptu tools, aren't we?
Exactly. Using your nails to pry something open, scrape a label off, or even just aggressive, fast typing it subjects them to physical trauma.
This can cause immediate damage, like chips or breaks, sure, but over time, it contributes to overall weakness and can even cause specific wear patterns on the nails.
So what's the simple protective strategy against this constant assault?
Protection, protection, protection. Really, it boils down to that. Wear gloves whenever you're using cleaning products or working with chemicals. Rubber gloves for wet tasks, maybe cotton liners under them or for dry tasks. And nitrile gloves offer better resistance for stronger chemicals.
And stop using them as tools.
Yes. Consciously reach for proper tools instead of your nails. Keep a letter opener, a small scraper, or even just a coin handy for those tasks. And for repetitive activities like typing, just be mindful. Take breaks. Ensure your setup is ergonomic. Or maybe even consider specialized typing gloves if it's a major part of your day. It's really about being aware and creating those barriers.
Okay. Circling back to something we mentioned earlier as a solution for, like public shower issues the power of natural antifungal oils. The material really delves into why these work so effectively. Yeah, this gets into the fascinating world of plant chemistry. Essential oils are basically concentrated compounds that plants produce as their own natural defenses against things like fungi, bacteria, pests. These compounds are incredibly potent.
What specifically makes them effective against nail fungus, though?
Well, the specific compounds in certain oils have been scientifically shown to disrupt the cell walls and the metabolic processes of fungi. Essentially, they make it impossible for the fungi to survive and grow.
Interesting.
Tea tree oil is a prime example. The material highlights its active compound, terpenophorol, noting studies that show it can be comparable in effectiveness to some prescription antifungal treatments. Oregano oil is another powerhouse. It contains carvacrol and thymol, which have really broad-spectrum antifungal and antibacterial properties.
So how should someone actually use these safely and effectively? You can't just dab them on straight, right?
No, definitely not. Proper dilution is absolutely critical to avoid skin irritation. The material recommends using about a 1.5% concentration of the essential oil mixed with a carrier oil.
Like what kind of oil?
Like jojoba, sweet almond, or fractionated coconut oil, the same ones we talked about for moisturizing, actually. They help deliver the essential oil and provide their own benefits, too.
And application.
Apply the diluted mixture directly to the clean, dry nail and the surrounding skin, probably twice daily. And consistency is absolutely key when you're dealing with fungal issues. It takes time for the healthy, treated nail to grow out completely.
The material also mentioned that combining oils can offer benefits.
Yes, creating blends can leverage the synergistic effects of different compounds. So a blend might combine the antifungal power of, say, tea tree or oregano with the healing properties of lavender or maybe the extra kick of lemongrass.
Right.
Products like Care Essentials oil are presented as examples of this approach, where multiple beneficial ingredients are already formulated together at precise concentrations. It kind of takes the guesswork out for the user and potentially offers a more comprehensive attack on the problem.
So taking all these habits, risks, and solutions into account,
Yeah.
how do you pull it all together into a practical approach? The material guides us on building your natural nail care routine.
Right, and the foundation of any successful routine is really consistency and using the right products for your specific needs. It's not about doing everything perfectly all the time, but more about building sustainable habits.
What does a daily maintenance routine look like then? Keep it simple.
Yeah, it can be very simple. Just take a moment to look at your nails each day, notice any changes, make applying a moisturizing oil or cream to your nails and cuticles a habit, maybe every time you wash your hands,
Okay.
and applying a more targeted treatment, whether that's antifungal, strengthening, or just a deeply nourishing oil right before bed, gives it time to really soak in and work overnight.
And then there's the weekly intensive care you mentioned.
Yeah, this is where you give your nails a little extra love, maybe a longer oil massage, perhaps gentle exfoliation for the cuticles, remember, not cutting, or even a dedicated nail mask if that appeals to you.
And trimming.
Right, when you trim your nails, use sharp, clean tools and file gently, preferably in one direction to prevent splitting.
And listening to your body and environment is also important, it sounds like.
Absolutely. The material notes you might need to adjust your routine seasonally. Maybe more intensive moisturizing in dry winter months, or perhaps more focus on antifungal protection in the summer if you're active around water, like swimming pools.
Right.
The key is just to pay attention to how your nails look and feel and adapt your routine accordingly.
Now, while natural methods are powerful, the material responsibly covers when to seek professional help. What are the warning signs that you really need to see a doctor?
Yeah, definitely look out for persistent pain, severe discoloration, especially dark streaks under the nail, clear signs of infection like significant warmth, swelling, or pus around the nail, or if a nail suddenly separates from the nail bed without any obvious injury. These really need professional assessment.
And if the natural stuff just isn't working?
Right. Also, if you've been diligently applying natural treatments for, say, 3-4 months and you're just not seeing any improvement, that's a good sign. It's time to consult a healthcare provider or a dermatologist.
Any other triggers?
And sudden changes in the appearance of your nails, especially if they affect multiple nails at once, can sometimes be a sign of an underlying systemic health issue that needs proper medical evaluation.
Okay. And when you do see a professional, how can you best prepare for that appointment?
The material suggests being really open and bringing a list of all the treatments you've already tried, including the natural remedies. This gives the provider the complete picture.
Good idea.
And unless they specifically advise you to stop, you can often continue your natural treatments alongside professional care. Many practitioners are open to integrated approaches these days.
And even with professional help, all the daily habits and prevention strategies we discussed are still important, right?
Oh, absolutely. Maintaining those good practices helps support the healing process and, importantly, prevents recurrence. The core principles of protection, hydration, and mindful care remain essential no matter what.
Finally, the material frames all of this not as some temporary fix, but as the long-term vision. Maintaining healthy nails for life.
It really is a lifelong journey, isn't it, of consistent attention. Building healthy nails isn't about a single product or a quick treatment. It's about cultivating sustainable habits over time.
How do you actually go about building those habits effectively, though? It can seem overwhelming.
The material suggests starting small. Maybe just pick 1 or 2 areas from this whole deep dive. Perhaps it's always wearing gloves while cleaning, Or maybe applying cuticle oil every single night and focus on making those automatic before you add more.
Make it enjoyable.
Yes, make nail care enjoyable. Integrate it into your self-care routine. Use pleasant scents. Make it a relaxing ritual, whatever works for you.
Tracking your progress seems like it would be motivating too.
It really can be. A simple log of any issues you notice, what you tried, and how your nails responded can be incredibly insightful over time. And taking occasional photos is also a great way to visualize the long-term changes, the ones that happen slowly over weeks and months. It really highlights the impact of your consistent efforts.
And it all comes back to that powerful concept you hear about the compound effect.
Exactly. Those small, seemingly insignificant daily actions, applying oil for 30 seconds, wearing gloves for a few minutes, taking a moment to de-stress instead of biting your nails, they compound over time. Individually, they might seem minor, but when you practice them consistently, they lead to dramatically healthier, stronger, more resilient nails over the long term.
So the core takeaway here seems to be that truly healthy nails aren't the result of some magic polish or, a single trip to the salon. It's really about consistent, thoughtful care, incorporating natural solutions, and being mindful of those subtle daily habits that can cause that silent damage.
And the good news is the power to make these changes, implementing protective measures, choosing gentler products, using effective natural treatments, it's really accessible to everyone. It doesn't have to be complicated or expensive.
Right. Your nails are reflecting your overall health and your daily routines maybe more than you realize. And recognizing that small, consistent actions have such a powerful compound effect. Well, what does the current state of your nail care routine reveal to you? And maybe what single, small, consistent change could you start today that might just have a surprisingly big impact, not only on your nails, but perhaps even on your overall well-being?